Before we get started, my dear readers, I want to inform you guys that this video you're about to watch is a horror short story, but it's for the entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. Life is simple, yet complex. Learning more about the world each and every single day brings us closer to knowledge. Having to process our environment in order to make safe decisions and conscious actions is something we regularly conduct every day, making life complex. But life was also simple in a different time. In other words, we didn't have to think so much. What I'm talking about is our childhood, a time where we were still learning how to add and subtract, or wondering what type of game to play with our friends. Many roles influence a child's childhood, but one of the main factors that revolved around it was kids' TV shows. I was reminiscing about the shows I used to watch as a kid, and it brought back so many memories. The joy of coming home from school, laying down on the couch while eating your favorite sweets left in the fridge, and turning on the TV to see the network logo flash before your eyes. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Boomerang, I can name so many. But at times when I wasn't allowed to watch any buffoonery, PBS Kids was my go-to. If you don't know or remember this network, PBS Kids, or the Public Broadcasting Network, was a network show broadcast in the United States that was designed for the purpose to target the younger audience of children between the ages 2 to 10, having a different show air for a different purpose. Whether it was kids learning their ABCs or learning how to multiply or divide, PBS Kids had shows to remember, educate, and enjoy. My personal favorites were Fetch with Rough Ruffman and the Electric Company, but so many shows would always catch my attention and make me want to explore the world, through a child's eyes, of course. Like I said before, the shows were designed for children, but what would happen if someone decided to produce these shows with malicious intent? You wouldn't expect it with all the vibrant colors and happy voices you hear, but that may just be a facade that covers the real truth, and we won't realize it until we become adults. Today, my fellow readers, I will be reading a very special story, one that is made for the purpose of making your skin crawl. So be prepared for a story that revolves around a kids' show that is more than just entertainment. This story is called Colwin's Corner by Andrea Carrol. I usually like to watch TV shows with my little sister, Kimberly. She was only 5, so of course, she watched all the cutesy kids shows. I didn't really mind though. They made her happy and I liked spending time with her. She watched shows like Dora, Blue's Clues, and Arthur. We often had a lot of DVDs of old kids shows around the house that we would watch. There was a large box of old movies and TV shows in the attic. I took a brief look at it once, but none of them looked like they would appeal to her. One day, Kimberly was at a doctor's appointment, and I thought I'd have time to watch a movie aimed more towards my age range. So I thought this would be a good time to look through the box of old movies in the attic. While I looked through the box, I noticed that these movies didn't really interest me, but I kept looking in hopes to find something. Then I saw, at the bottom of the box, a DVD labeled Colwin's Corner. Many memories started to come back to me. I used to watch the show as a kid. It was about an orange puppet named Colwin, who lived in a house on the corner of a street. He would often have his other puppet friends come over to play games and sing songs. It was cute and innocent, and I remember really liking it as a kid. I thought this would be a good show for my sister and I to watch. When Kimberly got home, I told her I got a new show for us to watch. She got excited and sat down on the couch while I put the disc in. I sat down next to her as the selection screen popped up. The screen looked just as I remembered it. It showed Colwin and his friends in front of the house. I chose the first episode, and the theme song began. I was a little confused. The colors were a lot darker than I remembered, and the song was sung a lot slower and in a deeper voice. I didn't think much of it as I hadn't seen the show in a long time, and I probably forgot some elements of it. The show began pretty normally. Colwin was in his house and said hello to the viewers. There was a knock on the door, and he said, "I think my friends are here." When he opened the door, I felt my heart to my throat. Standing at the door were 2 tall, white puppets with no nose or mouths, only pitch black eyes. I was shocked because I don't even remember these characters on the show. Even the cover of the DVD showed 2 colorful, friendly puppets. I looked over at Kimberly, and she had this big smile on her face. I was confused since an image like this would terrify a child. "I'm not sure if we should watch this anymore," I told her. "No, please, keep it on," she exclaimed. I continued watching as the giant puppets didn't seem to faze her. The two large puppets came into the house. Colwin asked, "What do you guys want to do today?" The one puppet replied with the most horrific sound I ever heard. It sounded like a man was shouting, almost screaming, in a strange language. The audio was very distorted. At this point, I got up and ejected the disc from the VCR, much to Kimberly's disappointment. "Why did you stop it? Put it back on," she said. I didn't listen and put the DVD in the drawer. Even though Kimberly wasn't bothered by the show, I still thought it was too disturbing for a 5-year-old. I had trouble sleeping that night. I kept thinking about the video. I watched that show all the time when I was younger. I definitely have seen every episode. I didn't understand why I didn't remember an episode like this. I was so curious about the rest of the episode. I decided to go downstairs to finish it. I took the DVD out the drawer and put it in the VCR. I put on headphones so the noise wouldn't disturb my family. The episode began the same, with the strange intro and the large puppets. After the one puppet made the terrifying sound, Colwin replied, "You're right, we should play a game." He then grabbed a knife off the counter. It cut to a live-action arm painted orange to represent Colwin's. The knife went up to the arm and started to cut slits, each one deeper than the last. Colwin started to scream a blood-curdling scream. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I felt sick to my stomach. Blood gushed out of the wound as the screams got louder and louder. It then cut to a live-action neck painted orange. The knife went up to the throat and cut a deep slit in it, and blood began gushing out. It showed Colwin gasping heavily for air before his eyes turned completely white. The episode ended with him falling to the ground as the two tall white puppets looked directly into the camera with pitch black eyes. I was utterly terrified at this point. I immediately ejected the DVD and threw it in the trash. I couldn't sleep at all that night. I kept thinking about that episode. I got up the next morning and went downstairs to get some breakfast. I walked past Kimberly's room and saw that she wasn't there. When I got downstairs, I saw her on the couch, finishing up that horrific episode I watched last night. I immediately grabbed the remote and turned the TV off. "Why did you do that?" she asked. "Where did you get this DVD?" I shouted. "It was in the garbage," she replied. "I took it out because I wanted to watch the episode." "This show is very bad," I shouted. "No, it's not," she said. "They were just baking a cake." "What?" I said. "The episode was about Colwin and his friends baking a cake," she replied. I was shocked. "What did his friends look like?" I asked. "One was blue and one was red," she replied. "I really liked it. Can I watch it again?"